If smart metering is to work, it must appeal to consumers, and it must save them money. At a major event and exhibition in Amsterdam, the European Smart Metering Industry Group unveiled the latest research into demand response programs, Empower Demand 2, and the main message is clear.
What came out of the report was that in order to get consumers to change behaviour, education and communication are key. Now, for anybody involved in the soft side of our industry, that should be rather obvious. Not if you're in the traditional metering industry, because consumers are often ignored.
Previous reports have been based on older technology, which was often too complex and, according to this latest report, uninspiring. But smart meter design is moving forwards, becoming simpler and more accessible.
I think where the new technology helps is that I think companies are learning all the time about the sort of technologies required, and therefore I think some of the results in the past I think can only be taken as a basis for what the results might be in the future. I think it'd be bold to say that the benefits will increase greatly because of the new technology. We just don't know. But it is likely that as the technology and the software and the images improves, that is much more friendly for the consumer to actually understand the messages and therefore make the right decision.
The important thing is to communicate effectively with consumers, but that means using terms they understand. It's no good referring to kilowatt hours. They need to have it explained in terms of everyday energy use in the home. Research conducted in Australia by Dr. Yolanda Strengers took a sociological view, rather than one based on engineering or technology. She found existing research assumed a computer-savvy head of household in charge of energy use. She referred to him as resource man.
So what my research looks at is how people actually live, what they consume in the course of their everyday practices. You know, how they do their laundry, how they wash the dog.
With the appropriately targeted communication in everyday language, consumers do get the message and will begin to adjust how and when they use electricity.
Householders are incredibly innovative, and I think we don't give them enough credit a lot of the time. They're used to adapting, they're used to things going wrong, they're used to breakdowns and disruptions and moving things around to different times of the day.
Even among commercial consumers, the research showed a clear need for greater control over energy use to cut waste, something that can best be done with the sort of transparency that smart metering can provide. At present, of 1,000 staff at just one German company, some 44% leave their computers on overnight, wasting more than €77,000 a year.
That's quite a huge amount of money they could save, that's right. These numbers are from 2009. Things have been changed, that's right. But we have figured out that there is a potential from 5% of savings up to 30–40% in each company.
European Union countries spend around €500 billion a year on importing energy, and they really want to cut that bill. Now, feedback and control through smart meters are obviously key in reducing consumption. It could be reduced by rather more, in fact, than the pilot tests so far have suggested. But the meters must engage the public. They must be user-friendly, easy to read and understand. So, education and communication really matter. And that means explaining to people why shifting their energy use away from times of peak demand may not reduce their consumption, but it will reduce their bills.
I think we also have to recognise that there are some loads that are not switchable. If you want to watch the TV when the football's on, you don't say, I'll put it off for 2 hours because it's cheaper. That's never going to happen. Similarly, when you want to boil a kettle, you're not going to put it off for an hour. However, there are many loads, and it's some of the big loads that are definitely usable. I mean, I last week, for instance, used a high-pressure water pump in my garden. Found out it was running 2 kilowatts. Now, I could have done it if I was on a time of use tariff, and finding out I was paying 3 times the price around lunchtime. I probably would have said, you know what, I won't do that over lunchtime, I'll do it in the afternoon. So yes, you're quite right, a lot of things are not switchable, but an awful lot of the big loads are, and it's those big loads that in terms of when you're looking into smoothing the curve of a grid, it's those big loads that really make the differences in terms of demand response.
The Empower Demand 2 report suggests future technology will offer a better experience for users with more automation, self-control, feedback and intelligent advice geared to an individual customer's needs and character. Something that works and makes few demands on the end user whilst giving them more control is the way forward.